Okay, so I suppose there are a few perks to climbing mountains all day. My choice, my choice. Where was all that water last night? Gosh, all that water and none of it near me. God, it's amazing. It's amazing. And there is, again, doesn't look that bad, but if I stepped off, I'd die. So we're not going to go anywhere near there. Yeah. All right, I cannot dilly-dally today. After yesterday, you'd think I wouldn't stop at all. But look at that. Yeah. Okay, water, you and me. Haha. Good morning. So we had a little excitement yesterday. After I arrived at the shelter, I did not think there would be anything. I didn't think there'd be time for anything, as I was going right to bed. But as it would turn out, this particular shelter was no frills. I knew there was, well, they did have bear hang. That was good. They had bear cables to hang your bags, so that was a plus. But no privy. It was an old shelter, but it was nice. It was built a long time ago. Anyway, I decided to pitch my tent anyway. So I pitched it right next to it, actually, in a few steps over, and where the grass wasn't up to my thighs. Seemed like everywhere else it was. Oh shoot. See, this is why we have the phone turned away from me so that I can see where I'm stepping and still twist my ankle. All right. What was I saying? What was I saying? My God. Anyway, ticks galore. Not complaining, not saying, oh my gosh, can't believe there's ticks. Like, obviously there's ticks. Ticks galore, okay? There is grasses up to my thighs. The ticks, what I mostly saw from the grasses was dog ticks. They weren't attached. They just probably brushed up against me, got on me. I don't know how long they would have stayed on me. Not sure, if my stuff was just worn off and I should have added more. But being so close to the shelter, I was thinking I'm just going to wash it off anyway. Anyway, so I picked a few off, but they weren't detached. But tons of ticks. Then I'm setting up my tent, and I picked off 2 ticks. So ticks galore, okay, in this backwoods of New York. So then I initially thought I would stay in the shelter, though, but then decided maybe it would be less stifling. Okay, so I set up my tent, and I decide to set out for water. Now, Walkabout has not shown up. He decided to stop off at a little, state park. I was like, no way. I need to get to that shelter for my mental health. So he had not arrived yet. And the first water source, this particular shelter had a primary water source and a backup. And so the primary water source, I couldn't even find it. It was so dry. So I set off. The backup water source is 0.4. I'm like, are you kidding me? 0.4. Well, I followed the yellow blazes as instructed and could not find it. Well, I did find a stream that was dried up. So now, no water source at this shelter, and I'm not prepared for it. Thank God, okay? I had actually filled, gosh, it had to have been a few miles back. There was some young men there, and I was wicked thirsty, so I guzzled down 20 ounces and then filled my bottles, and then helped one young man. They were on day 3. I remember being day 3. Poor guy didn't even have the best equipment, so I could see him struggling. So I said, here, let me help you. You can use mine. It was my collection bag, my CNOC. Get a CNOC. They are worth their weight in gold. So I had what he was using. It was the bag that comes with the Sawyer filter kit, and it just doesn't work, and it fails quickly. So just throw it out, put it aside, get a CNOC. Okay, so I help him, I move on. I get to the shelter, I realize there's no water. Now I'm like, Oh my gosh. Because I could have guzzled both those 20-ounce bottles right on the spot. Thank God I had not. And now it was rationing time. And I'm going up a hill, so I'm going to pause. Hold on. Alrighty then, a little flat section. Let's see how far I get. So we're rationing water. How shall we use this water most efficiently? Dinner. Can't hike, you don't eat. So, which dinner in your backpack, because I have very few left, I'm resupplying today, hopefully, uses the least amount of water? Mashed potatoes. So mashed potatoes and 2 great value packets of pulled pork, which, you know what? I would never have bought them before the trail. Probably will never buy them again after the trail. Well, maybe for backpacking trips. But they get the job done and they're not awful. Really. Little salt and pepper and boom. It was delicious. The rest of that bottle was used to drink with dinner. Then I've got 20 ounces left. And normally a whole 20 ounces goes in the coffee cup in the morning, and that's my coffee. And I wanted to use it for that so badly. I know you're thinking, but Karen, coffee is dehydrating. Isn't that counterproductive? Yes, it would be. But coffee also makes me happy in the morning. And that's probably more important than water. Let me regret that decision later. So I'm laying in bed and I was so thirsty. So I did drink 10 ounces of that water and had a half a cup of coffee this morning. But there's good news, because in the map it talks about a spigot at mile 1402. Now that's a reliable water source. And I know I said the other day, spiggity water tastes spiggity. Yes, it does. But if you're dying, okay, I'll do the spigot water. I think I even qualified that the other day. So if nothing else, there will be spigot water at mile 1402. There's a little building, and I guess we're allowed to use it. There's also a little stream it's like a mile from where I am, where the shelter. So I'm thinking, I'm thinking that it's going to be dried up, but it's also worth, investigating. So we'll see what happens when I get there. And I had mentioned that Walkabout had not gotten to the shelter yet, and I was concerned because I didn't have his cell number. Sometimes I have hikers' numbers because, maybe I text him a picture or something, group picture we're in. But I didn't have his number, and I'm thinking I've got to tell him. But thankfully, he came with about a liter of water, and so he was able to get this day started and use what he needed last night as well. Anyway, it's, here I am knowing, can't pick a campsite without a water source. And it just didn't cross my mind that this shelter would have an unreliable water source times 2. Okay, so what have I learned from all this? My gosh, it's 91 days. 91 days on the trail. I should have known better. I was walking across dry streams all day. I've been walking across dry streams for days. Most especially yesterday, though. If it had not been from the absolute generosity and kindness of some soul that I will never meet, who left a water cache, my gosh, I wouldn't have had water for a very, very long stretch. And there is water. It is muddy and swampy and disgusting. And push come to shove, I would have had to try to filter that, even if it meant filtering it a few times. But I didn't have to because of that kindness. But the next reliable water source after that, I think, was those guys that I bumped into. So, really, I have gone to shelters with no water. I cannot do that. I have to be smarter than that, especially in the summer months. Or at least unless I have I have all the confidence in the world that there's a reliable water source. So this is the first water source of the day. I didn't really want to collect there. Looks a little stagnant, but you can see it moving here. I mean, I don't know if that's truly stagnant, but I'm not willing. Not when this is available. This is moving. Now you're going like, that's really small, Karen. Well, yes, I dug this deeper, right here. So it was coming off the rocks here. I dug this deeper so I could get my collection bag in there. And it worked. It totally worked. I got enough for a 20-ounce guzzle, which I drank down greedily, as they say. And then I filled 2 20-ounce bottles. And then there will be the spigot at 14 miles, and I'm 1402. And I'm thinking that I will maybe take an extra liter at that time, just because I won't know what I'll see going forward. But this is how bad it is. I mean, last night, the campsite, you know, both water sources, the main water source and the backup water source, were dry. And so at least this was 1 mile in. And so I was able, and despite the crazy amount of mosquitoes, now that I have stopped, I brushed my teeth because I couldn't take that any longer. So I dug out my, now I don't know if you can see, we're going up. I know, see, just does not look that steep, but it is, people, it is. It's wicked steep. 1,400 miles. Gosh, I almost blew right by it. Thank you, whoever made this little stick thing. Wow, 1,400 miles. So what is that? 2197.4 minus 1,400. 797.4. My gosh. Alrighty, let's do it. Oh, what is this? Okay, let's look at it. I don't know what it is. The historic 1777 and 1777 trails. You are walking part of the 1777 historic trail that retraces as nearly as possible the routes taken by the British Army during the Revolutionary War. In 1777, trail represents the route taken by British General Sir Henry Clinton's forces on October 6, 1777, after landing 2,100 men at Stony Point. I won't read the whole thing, but anyway, how very cool is that? I am walking a historic trail. Cool. So this morning, got up early. I had set my alarm for 5, but my bladder was up at 4:30. Like, hey, you awake? I was like, I wasn't, but I am now. So I tried to ignore it, but at 4:45 I got up and started my coffee. I brought the stove over by the fire pit because, oh shoot, here we are going to cross a road. But I brought my stove over by the fire pit because I was not going to be trying to heat my water in the tall grasses with all the ticks. So all of a sudden I hear all this clacking, right? And I think, I don't know why, I was looking down lighting my stove, so I didn't look up right away. And I'm thinking it's hiker poles, and I thought, wow, some people got an early start. But then, when I did look up, it was a deer. I mean, this deer had to be within 4 feet of me, completely and utterly unconcerned. And I have no idea where I'm supposed to go, so let me pause for a minute. Okay, so it put me out on a street walk, but it looks like I'm gonna be turning soon and heading uphill. So, really quick, finish my story. So the deer was utterly unconcerned with me, and that clacking noise was his little feet on the rocks, sounding just like my poles. But then, now, because I was up so early, I got packed up early. I'm so proud of myself. I was back on trail at 6:35, thinking, oh, this is so good. I oftentimes will do a voice text message to my family. So I start that, and I'm telling them how early I got, and I'm telling them about yesterday, and blah, blah, blah. And I finish, and I put my phone away, and I'm like, okay, why is my hand free? Why is my hand free? Yes, I had forgotten my pole. I was so upset. I screamed into the wilderness. I'm like, no! So yes, I probably went a half a mile. A half a mile. I was livid with myself, but I had to get my pole. So quickly turned around, and thankfully there were 2 small hills that I had already climbed and gone down, but hope they weren't that bad. So I'm thinking, oh, just go as quickly as possible. And I didn't quite get to the point where I had to go down that big climb I started the day with. And Walkabout comes up on trail because I knew he started after me. And I threw my arms up in disgust, like telling him I can't believe I forgot my pole. He turns to the side and he has my pole stuffed in his pack. He says, I was wondering how far you'd get before you noticed. And I'm like, I got as far as it takes to say good morning to my family. Oh my gosh. And of course, this morning's message, some are 2 minutes, some are 9. This was one of the 9 minutes. So, rawr. But anyway, thank you, Walkabout. All right, so I've turned into a state park, I think. Yeah, so I'm gonna finish up. That was my. I know you can't see it. You can barely see it. It's right there. Apparently, yeah, it's looking at me. See, it was crossing at the same time I was crossing, and it decided it should have had the right of way, and it starts rattling. Only I thought it was rattling off a little bit in the distance, so I'm looking into the grass. When I don't see it, I look down, and it was right next to my flippin' foot. Rattling. Like, lady, excuse me, I had the right of way. And here he is. Now he's feeling confident. Like, hey, I scared you well enough. I'm going to cross now. Oh my gosh. Look, dude, I did not mean to bother you. We got to share the trails. I respect you, you respect me. Look at this. Holy smokes. Gosh. Okay, it wasn't right next to my foot. I don't want my family thinking I almost got bit. But it was close enough that it's made me jump. Like when I realized where it was, I like bolted forward. All right. Goodbye, baby. Goodbye. Sorry I bothered you. And there is another one of my little friends. This is exactly how I found him. I do not think he knew I was there, so I moved right along. And honestly, I have never seen a rattlesnake before coming on trail. They are flippin' huge. And, it just furthers the argument. There is no way on God's green earth I am going 200 feet bushwhacking off trail to take care of any level of GI concern. None. I will find some other appropriate and conspicuous place, but not 200 feet off trail. So all my little rattlesnake friends and I can hang out together. Yeah, no, ain't happening. Nope, bye. All right, bye, my little friend. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye. In memory of Timothy J. Sullivan, Chief Forest Ranger. Well, don't mind if I do. So this is the Bear Mountain Inn. I just went into a little restaurant that's at the end here and had a hamburger. Well, no, I had a cheeseburger, didn't I? Lettuce, tomato, and cheese. Anyway, it's delicious. And a guy actually followed me and said, oh, we're doing trail magic. Of course, I'm like, what do you got? Because if it was hamburgers, I'd be all about it. But he said hot dogs. So I said, well, I'll swing by because actually it's right on trail. So now I have to go back this way and then we'll go say hi to the guy doing trail magic. And I think he's a little disappointed because he said he hasn't seen anybody yet today. So that would be sad if you're doing trail magic. I don't know where everybody is, but like I said, I've been seeing very few through hikers on the trail right now. A lot of loads of day hikers today. I have met some of the nicest people, and I will tell you all about it. So I did not stop here, but they also have this gift shop and concession stand and old-fashioned milkshakes. Oh, I should stop there. But I think I'm supposed to go this way. I thought I had to go through that. I don't know. Maybe I will go through it. Looks like there's shade. I'm gonna go through this. Yeah. It's like, oh, it's a little covered picnic pavilion. Why not? Well, I'll tell you why not. Because it's going to end and then I won't be on the trail. So this was nice to see. But now I'm gonna get back on trail and get a move on. Get to the spiritual center. I am literally hiking on the AT through a small zoo called the Trailside Zoo. I don't know. It's obviously not very big, and I don't know how much I'm gonna see. But anyway, it's kind of cool here. Let's pull it. It's kind of cool. Oh look, closed for construction. The turtles and the snakes. But oh, a striped maple. Anyway, it's kind of neat. And there's Wilson telling me that yes, you belong inside the zoo. Oh, look. I don't know if this is glaring off the... They have Indian campsite. Anyway. Oh, this is the closest. Okay, this is the closest to a bear that I have gotten. How sad. Oh. Oh, there he is. Poor baby. He should be out in the wild for me to see him.
That's so cool. You have to get a picture,
See, it's a black bear. Looks kind of brown, but... Oh. Hey, baby. You're the only bear I've seen on trail. I'm sorry you're in here. You must have a good reason. Maybe they're taking good care of you and you couldn't survive in the wild. Hey, beautiful baby. Hoping I can see some of your friends out there. But I really, really, really don't want them to be on trail, okay? Tell them to be in the trees when I see them, okay? All right, baby. I'll see you later. I love you. Bye. So New York, and this is also the absolute lowest point in the trail, elevation-wise. How about that? So we are about to cross. Now you can join me for a bit. The Bear Mountain Bridge. Everything's Bear Mountain right now. Hey Rorschach, you think that's Bear Mountain in front of us? Oh, okay, so this isn't even Bear Mountain in front of us. We actually were on Bear Mountain, that I knew. But who the heck knows where the trail winds you around. All right, I won't make you watch much longer, but there's the water. All right, on we go. Well, I made it to the Appalachian Market for resupply.